Recently, the Stafford Civic Center played host to a first for SMSD, an appearance by a best-selling author, Roshani Chakshi.
Part of being in the library is networking with other librarians in the city. Being in Stafford's a little small, but when you network with other librarians, you can get them, word of mouth and getting them somewhere. And this was a great venue and a great place to bring an author that's just starting out.
Ruth Shaw and the End of Time is easily summed up as Sailor Moon meets Percy Jackson. So there's a group of magical girls, they've got to fight a demon. It's heavily influenced by Indian mythology. And the character of Aru is a lot like how I was in middle school. She's very imaginative, we'll put it that way. And she stretches the truth perhaps more times than she should. On one such occasion, it gets her into a lot of trouble where she lights a lamp she should not light, and it awakens and unleashes a demon known as the Sleeper. And so now she's got about a week to stop him from ending time.
Speaking of Percy Jackson, Ruth Shaw is one of the books premiering a new publishing imprint by Jackson author Rick Riordan.
It feels amazing and overwhelming, and when I'm feeling very poetic, it feels like I guzzled moonlight. It's like one of those incredibly impossible feelings. And I think it's totally appropriate that we actually got the news that Rick Riordan Presents would be publishing Aru on Halloween of 2016. And I was dressed up in this ridiculous Medusa face makeup, and I get the phone call and I start scream crying and my scales are running and everything is insane. And I'm so happy. And I remember looking, catching a very unfortunate glimpse of myself in the mirror and thinking, my insides match my outsides. It's monstrous, it's impossible, it's so much fun, it's scary. So I think the most memorable book for me when I was Aru's age was Tithe by Holly Black. Tithe is pitched as a modern day fairy story. It's got an elf prince in it, or elf lord, I should say. It was really, really formative for me because it was one of the first books I saw that had an entrance into the other world, where you see these fairy-like characters who are cruel and indifferent because they're immortal. And that feeling of wanting so desperately to be someone other than who you are. And I loved it. Unfortunately, reading Tithe did end up giving me pneumonia in a very random way, because I remember distinctly that it was raining very, very hard in 7th grade, and this was around the same sort of setting where Holly's character finds this elf lord dude, and so I too went out into the woods thinking that I might find one, and I did not. I did get pneumonia though, so I did try. It was inspiring. Always been an avid reader and writer, and when I was little, there's nothing quite as sad as going to your favorite librarian, your favorite teacher, and asking them for a book that has someone on the cover that looks like you for a change, or a book whose subject matter deals with the heritage that you call your own. It makes you feel erased, and it makes you feel as though your story doesn't matter. So for me, writing Aru was very much an exercise in wish fulfillment. I have been dying to write a story like hers, one that so closely mirrors my own struggles, being a first-generation American, having ties across the cultural spectrum, and also navigating just the horribleness of middle school, where everything is happening all at once, and you're having all these feelings, and your hair is changing, and it's strange and bizarre. And so, of course, this is the time when magic comes to you.
Any advice for aspiring young authors?
I would tell them to read widely, to read outside your genre. I would say to also remember that you are not a jug of milk and that you have no expiration date for success.
For Spartan Spotlight, this is Randall Williams.